and which one controls which here. I'm talking. Need it closer, like that. How about now? That better?
Testing. Hello, hello.
And then
Test, test, test. 1, 2, 3. Red corner, blue corner. Normal banter. All right, well, we're getting close here. Fighters just getting set up, ready to go. Officials getting ready as well. Final touches. If you guys aren't here, get over here. Let's watch some fights, have a good time.
it's a great venue here. First time I've been here. We're at the Sioux Falls Lutheran School on the south end of Sioux Falls, and great seating available. The ring looks awesome. A lot of work done ahead of time to get this all set up. There's a lot of people here early this morning putting everything together.
I can hear us now, Bruce.
It's on a delay.
Hmm?
A little bit of a delay.
Oh.
So it's going to be a fun day. It's always great to be at boxing matches. Been to a few of these events over the years.
It's fun to watch, looking around too, just the different levels of, you can see the ones that are overly excited, like really they're like, oh my God, I can't wait to get in there. Some that are just calm and collected, they've been there before.
This is kind of a different setup from what I've seen over the years. For those that are in the audience, they can actually see areas where there's chairs and there's kind of like little wall barriers set up, but they can see the fighters actually getting their hands wrapped and fighters warming up. It's a lot of the venues that I've been to before, that's all done in the background, not even out in the open area for people to see. So it's a pretty neat experience, I think, for those that are here.
If you're tuning in, stay tuned in. I'm sure we'll be getting started here after a little bit. Again, everyone just getting officially ready. Fighters getting warmed up, hands wrapped, officials getting ready.
Really looking forward to today. This is the second Rumble at the Falls event that Bruce has had me come to. Sitting here with 3 generations of my family. I have my son Tanner here next to me, helping me cover the event, or me helping him cover the event, and talk about what's going on in the ring. And I've got my grandson sitting right behind me, and all 3 of us have been in the ring with gloves on and know what it's like for most of these guys. Other than Gavin hasn't had a real boxing match in a ring yet, but
no fight yet.
No fight yet.
Plenty of combat sports experience though, with his jiu-jitsu and judo and wrestling, a little bit of wrestling back in the day. So now we just get him gloved up, throwing the leather.
Don't be touching it. Yeah.
Interesting seeing the age differences between some of the officials here too, Tanner. You know, you got some of that younger generation, and then you got guys there that are older than me, and I'm 66 years old. So.
Holy smokes.
It's great how technology has helped people like Bruce be able to provide a streaming for boxing. Years ago when I used to box, you know, you had to be at the event or you didn't see it. and even then a recording of it was a great big heavy VCR on a VHS machine on your shoulder.
Oh, I know. We just watched one of your old fights. That was in black and white and spotted, and yeah, that was wild.
No, so that's great for the family members that can't make it here to be able to watch it online and see it. It's great that Bruce is using the technology like this. And
well, and nice bright lights in here too, because when you were fighting, I think they had candlelight, didn't they?
well, there was one match, the one that we recently looked at, there was only one light. It was in just the one corner of the ring, and the recording, when I was in the other corners, you couldn't see. It was like a dark alley.
Too funny. This is what's live on the internet right now. Officials getting the final breakdown before we get started here. If you're tuning in, stay tuned in. Fight should be getting started here pretty quick.
send bouts 1 and 2 to the gloving table.
There's the word. Got boxers heading to the gloving table.
When?
Yeah, bouts 1 and 2.
Bounce 1 and 2 to the glove table, please. Bounce 1 and 2 to the glove table, please. Bonus. You get a bonus on that for that extra job that you have to do. Okay, if you would please rise for the national anthem, please. Hold that way. Also remain seated or remain standing for the prayer afterwards, please.
Thank you. Thank you all for coming. Let's bow our heads. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for this opportunity, God, to come here and display the skills that these young men have worked on. Lord, I just ask for their protection tonight. God, we just thank you for living in the greatest country on earth. In Jesus' name, amen.
Good question. How to pronounce that. All right, we should be getting started here shortly now. RumbleAtTheFalls.com. Share that link out. Get your friends and family on there. We get ready for some exciting fights. Got lots of people rolling in now as we get going. Sold out arena here.
Sold out, yes. I love it. Appears there's like 8 or more teams here. It's great to see this kind of turnout with amateur boxing events.
remember those times too, just traveling when I was fighting. That was some of the most fun times I had, traveling with the team. You know, all jump into a van or maybe even a little Honda Civic, depending on where we were going. But just the camaraderie, you know, especially from a young age when I was fighting, you know, 10 years old and getting to go on trips, sometimes even without mom and dad, and sometimes even getting in trouble from staying in a hotel and jumping on the bed and breaking the springs.
Yep,
Remember
I
that?
heard that story. The coach told me about your situation there. Let's see, you ended up cleaning a bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
Over that.
Terrible bathroom.
At our gym.
The bottom of a building from like 1854 that was full of spiders and, oh my God, yeah.
No, some of these boxers become great friends, even though in the ring they're competing against each other out of the ring. They become friends, and it's not just during their boxing career; it's afterwards as well. You know, I'm friends with a guy that I had 2 great matches with when I was young, and he's out in El Paso, Texas now, and we keep talking about having the rubber match between the 2 of us because we each won one. So, yeah, you can get to develop a relationship with these people, coaches and boxers alike.
Round 1 in the ring, please. Tony Ventura from Siouxland Boxing and Connor Meshi from Fallout Shelter.
Got our first fight coming to the ring here. We'll have Tony in the blue corner and Connor in the red corner.
Starting out with some bigger boys there, Tanner.
Yeah, I was just thinking that same thing. This could be exciting right out of the gate. 187 pounds, these guys coming in.
And for any beginning boxing viewers, you notice that the one boxer has red gloves and he's standing in the red corner. The other one has blue gloves. He's in the other corner. And that's kind of how the judges will differentiate the fighter so that they knows who's landing punches and how to adjust the scorecard accordingly. Getting last minute instructions from the referee before the bout starts, so.
Out of the red corner, Tony Ventura. Sorry, out of the blue corner, Tony Ventura. Out of the red corner, Connor Ish.
Look at me. Watch your head. I don't want to see you head bump. Do not punch in the back of the head or the back at any time. You can see the belt. Don't punch. You can punch on it, but not below it. All right? Keep holding. All right? You guys good? Protect yourself. Have fun. Touch them up. Any corners? Hi, Tony. Stay busy. Stay busy. Okay. Fuck. Go.
Connor leading off with that jab.
Tony looking for a few body shots here, it looks like. Nice little left hook by Tony.
Tony maybe going to look to expose where he's dropping that jab a little bit when it shoots out. Tony playing a little bit more of the patient game, while Connor really is liking to throw that jab. Nice 1-2, mouthpiece dropped, hit the canvas there. Take a minute to rinse that off.
I noticed Tony working the body a little bit, and that doesn't seem like much in the beginning, but after you land enough of those hard shots, it drops the guard of your opponent and slows them down definitely. So,
all right, mouthpiece rinsed off. We're going to be back in action. Here we go. Good up and down from Tony there, working his angles. Body, head, body, head. Connor getting off the ropes. Back to that jab.
Connor trying to make sure he doesn't get stuck in the corner there. Get back out to the center of the ring. Connor's got a beautiful job. Nice right hand, Connor.
There, Connor switching up his angles now too. Little level change there going downstairs. Mouthpiece down again. We'll get that rinsed off. Referee letting our fighter know that we got to keep bit down on that thing. We got to bite down hard and let that thing not fall out. Good body head out of Tony.
These guys aren't afraid of each other. They're stepping in there and mixing it right up. There was no feeling it out.
Tony seems to have found an angle getting over top of that jab with his right hook. He's been timing it just at the end of that jab. He's been coming over top of it. See if Connor spins off these ropes here.
Well, first round down in the record books.
Corner giving Tony the instructions to be breathing when he's out there, making sure that we're not just going aggressively the whole time.
You know, over the years, I've heard a lot of coaches giving instructions when I've been a referee and talking to different coaches, and you know, some coaches give way too many instructions in between rounds. You know, the ones that I feel that are really good are the ones that say they give them either one or two and specific ones, and that's all they harp on between that first and second round. They might have different ones between second and third, but you don't want to confuse the boxer either. You want them to focus on just two main things, in my opinion, but
I completely agree
everybody
with
does it different, right?
Yeah, the other thing I like to do when I was working the corner is I never give instructions right away when they sit down. I want them to breathe right away. They're just trying to compose themselves. Then they'll be more amped to listen to me after a good 20 seconds of getting a deep breath.
Notice the referee circling around, trying to always get in a position where he can see between the two fighters and not be stuck behind them. It's always harder when you have a southpaw and a right-hander boxing because there's only one open side, so you really got to move around a lot as a referee.
Ref giving a warning just for slapping, essentially not landing with the knuckles of the glove, so turning a little bit slap. Amateur boxing, they're looking more so for the safety of the fighter than anything, so they're going to use some of these moments as a coaching moment, especially to the newer fighters.
It's a good point. You know, they have been over the years. When I first started boxing, you didn't have to wear headgear. You know, then they got to a point where it was mandatory. But I actually started wearing them prior to the mandatory because I saw a guy that fought internationally for the USA Boxing, and he was wearing a headgear at a time when you didn't have to. And I thought, he knows something. He had 160-some fights. He knows something I don't know. So I did start wearing headgear myself. Just getting a little check by the ringside physician. Again, all safety related.
Like to see Connor tuck that chin a little bit more on that jab, maybe follow it up with an angle change, and there the mouthpiece dropped again. Referee giving a warning to Connor that if he drops it one more time, he will be taking a point. From a coaching standpoint, too, you're looking at that from a couple different things. Either we got a mouthpiece that's not fitted right. Maybe Connor's struggling to breathe right now, having the mouth open a little bit. So a couple things we could go back and change up, either the mouthpiece or possibly even the conditioning if that were the case.
Connor's favorite fighter is Canelo Alvarez. His dream fight would be to fight Tyson Fury.
Ooh. Tony's corner asking for some head movement. He's been doing a good job with angle. Really nice left hook there, followed up by a right hand. Connor looking to spin off those ropes. Circled out with a jab.
Another round in the books. Tony's favorite fighter is Triple G.
What a great fighter.
Oh, awesome fighter.
I got blessed by my wife a few years back. She got me some signed autograph gloves from Triple G that now hang in my basement. So
Yeah, you're spoiled. You're spoiled.
that was a nice gift. That is for sure.
You know, for Tony, what got him into boxing, you know, we've asked these boxers some questions ahead of time, and he said it's just fun to watch. It's interesting seeing the different things that got these different gentlemen into boxing. Tony's been doing it 2 years. Looks like Connor's been doing it 2 years as well. These guys are fairly closely matched.
I love too, Connor. His favorite thing about fighting, he said, sparring. And it's, I mean, we can see that over there. He's got a bloody nose. He keeps coming out. He's ready to go. He loves this.
Yeah, I don't want to stop now. Now it's just getting fun, right?
Keep that chin down a little bit there, Connor. He came out better, though, right at his first couple jabs there.
Right.
You got 2 minutes, Tony. Let's go. Do it again. Do it again.
Referee saying Connor has had enough.
Safety.
Yep, absolutely a safety deal. You know, it's fun in these matches, though, to learn what it is that you need to work on, bring back to the gym, you know, and it's also cool to see these crossover athletes. Connor is actually a wrestler outside of boxing as well, so.
You know, the referee, I feel, in my shoes, as all the years, all the matches I've reffed, my attitude was I would rather stop a boxer than make his coach throw in the towel or make the boxer throw in the towel. You know, the boxer doesn't want to quit. It's much better when you can say, hey, I wanted to keep going, and I'm sure Connor did. There's no doubt in my mind he wanted to keep going. But again, we got to do what's right, make sure he's safe, and he can get back in there for another one. He can go back to the gym, work on some stuff. And
Out of the blue corner, Tony Ventura.
Next time we'll Tanner and me, I'll get him up here right away.
You see the ring doctor, the young man with the tight hairdo? Look up to him. Nobody else will. Come on.
They were coming to you late and they were behind you.
The white hat is good, I'm told. Okay. So be on your toes. Oh, wait a minute. I gotta get out of here. Yeah.
Okay, for the second bout of the evening, in the blue corner, Nolan, Red Cloud.
If you could just wait till they get in the ring. Okay, and then let the referee check both boxers. Then once he stands back in the okay, that'd be perfect. Okay, go. Wherever they're going, it's wherever. Usually you give me something like give me problems. Three.
Got our next fighters up here in our red corner. We're going to have Marcos, what do we got here? Castro Velasquez, it looks like, versus Nolan Red Cloud. Nolan Red Cloud, we're at a 605 boxing.
In the blue corner, 605 boxing, Nolan Red Cloud. And
Coach asking this fighter to pace himself. We do have 2 fighters here that are both about a year of training. One's got 6 months, the other one's got a year of training.
We also have a situation where we have a left-hander and a right-hander. Now you see the referee is on the open side right now, because if he's on this backside, he can't see body shots if they're above or below the waist. So until they're straightened out, you know, when they get face-to-face, it's not blocked as much. But
Nice straight left lead there from Marcos.
Yep.
Working that body. Ooh, a little bit of a head colliding there. Another reason the amateurs are wearing those headgear, a lot of people think it's to stop the punches. It's primarily from heads flailing around and headbutts.
helps minimize cuts. The trick with a southpaw and a right-hander is, you know, you want to throw a lot of right leads if you're a right-hander, and the southpaw is going to throw a lot of left leads.
Fighting for that outside position.
And yeah, so watch their feet, watch their front feet. You know, somebody's always trying to get their foot on the outside so that your opponent is in your power lane, and they end up stepping on toes quite often.
You know, I'm impressed with both these guys for being a year of fighting. I'm seeing punches coming from angles. I'm seeing feints. There's
Bobbing and weaving.
Yeah, different angles, different levels. Right there, underneath that punch coming up.
Guard, gloves are up.
Very nice body shots from Marcos there. Nolan's still moving forward though. He's walking right through those.
Yep.
Now throwing some body shots of his own. Nolan looks like he's been trying to land that uppercut. He's thrown it a couple times here. We'll see if he comes back up the middle with it here on that right side.
Spin out, get back, regroup, throw some more punches.
And that rear uppercut is a great counter too when you have somebody coming in just throwing body shots. If they're coming with that 3-4, you're 6 up the middle there, meaning your right uppercut for an orthodox fighter. It's a great way to counter that.
Well, the movement and the combinations that these guys are throwing, it tells me they've been well coached. They got coaches that are really showing them stuff in the gym, especially for how short of a time they've been boxing.
Parry the punch.
And then getting to the end of the round, seeing whether the jaws drop and to breathe air. Conditioning is so important with amateur boxing. It's not just going down to the gym and hitting a heavy bag and sparring. You know, there's days you got to do your road work to build up that endurance, that wind.
It's always fun talking to fighters after their first fight when they, you know, it's just the difference between sparring. It's like, man, I feel like I can spar 12 rounds in the gym, and then you get out here and you do a 2-minute round, and it just feels like it's been a half hour.
Yeah. It's like, how can I be so tired? I do, yeah, like you said, 12 in the gym. And
You know, the biggest difference is that when you're comfortable in the gym, you have your first fight, you're going to have fans there, family, friends. There's the build-up from the night before, you know, what's going to happen? Oh, my God, the nerves are getting to you. All that adrenaline is going to rush out of you. Not to mention the difference when you're in the gym, you're not out to kill. You're there to get a workout in, but you're not there to take the head off of your training partner. And when you're out here, these guys are throwing everything with bad intention.
they're not pulling punches.
Little different cardio.
Start of the second round here. Referee making sure the ring is cleared before he allows the boxers to start.
Coach Jason Parson asking for some combos out of Nolan. Jason Parson's been a part of the boxing community for quite a while. Very good feint to a right lead there from Nolan. Got some nice in and out movement too. Finding his range with that jab. Now he's going to fight him into the corner. Coach is wanting him to stay on him right now. Going to be looking for some angles here. Body, head. Let's see if he's going to come up the middle with that uppercut now. That's 6. For safety, ref giving him a standing 8 count right now. Again, that's just an opportunity for the referee to get in, check the eyes of the fighter, and make sure we're good. 100% for the safety. Marcus coming back
body
now.
head shots, body head shots.
This is where we're starting to see some of that one-year boxing. So they both are coming out of the gate right away with just heavy punches, a lot of action, and we're going to see it taper off. As these two become more veteran fighters, you're going to see them pace that out throughout the fight.
So they can throw power throughout the entire round.
Correct.
Double up, same side, double up.
Nice jab there from Nolan.
10 seconds left here.
Let's go.
Both fighters
round.
breathing heavy. Yeah, this
Breathing
is
heavy, yep.
this
very
is that
good
we were
round.
talking about. They're like, oh man, this is feeling different than sparring. What is going on, coach? I don't ever get tired like this.
For those of you in the audience, you'll see the referees going around collecting the scorecard from each judge. He'll do that between each round, and then it gets tallied up by an official sitting ringside. And once it's the bout's over, then he lets the official know who the winner is, and it gets announced. All these people ringside, from the coaches to the judges to the referees, they all have to go through and do some studying. They have to pass a test. They have to get registered with USA Boxing. They have to become certified. And again, that certification process, they talk a lot about safety things that USA Boxing is all about.
Yeah, very seldom are you going to see knockouts in amateur boxing. More than likely, the ref is going to step in, or a coach before that, if they see a fighter is outmatched. Here I'm seeing two really evenly matched guys. This has been a really fun match to watch. Coach asking for that uppercut we were talking about. He said if he puts that head down, I want to see that uppercut.
Nolan's got determination in his face. He's going to get through with that punch. Nice movement by Marcos to get away from that.
Hesitated on that. Marcos was able to land that straight left lead. Real nice down the middle.
There was the opening for the uppercut. Oh, nice body shot by Nolan. Sounds like it's 10 seconds again. And there's your bout, folks. Great match. Good fight, guys.
What was that bell? We never got a warning.
Yeah, I heard the one.
The round was up? All right, that seemed quick, right? Is it just me?
Some confusion with how the time went in the bell there. Some people thinking the round might have been a little too quick, so.
Well, it was basically a tie. By 1 point.
All right, your winner out of the blue
That was a really fun fight to watch.
Yep.
I'd love to see those two go at it again. You know, it's
They're very evenly matched.
yeah. I had Marcos up on in that first round coming through, and Nolan really turned it on towards the middle and end there.
On this one, yes. Number 3, right? Oh, wait, me. I think this is number 3, right? I have Juan ref in this one. Juan's going to get some experience on this one.
Oh, okay.
But I have you at 3, Judge 3 still. That one there, yeah. I know, I'm sorry.
These are bigger guys. You might want to use 2 refs. I don't know.
Yeah, you might want to use 2 guys. Oops, sorry. This.
Juan Vargas up in the ring now. He's going to be getting some instructions from the referee. He's going to dabble himself into becoming a referee, so he's getting some experience up there, getting some last-minute instructions. Juan's family very involved in the boxing community. Their whole family does it. His wife's over there judging right now, helping officiate. His daughter's helping glove people up. Son coaches. Yeah, great family.
I've met him. I agree. Great people.
Crowd's fired up for this one.
A couple 119-pounders here. I don't remember the last time I saw that weight.
For you?
Yeah, for me.
Yeah, 3rd grade? Both fighters already looking really comfortable. Very good established coaches and gyms.
Both have only been boxing or training for about a year. Officials checking them out, making sure their headgears are snug, that their gloves are okay, there's nothing sticking out that can hurt.
Official Juan must have a hurt hand, either that or he thinks he's getting in there too and scrapping. He's got his hands wrapped up, ready to go. You'll know how to take control. I've done jiu-jitsu with Juan there, and he's don't let him deceive you. He's got a wrestling background, super strong.
For your 3rd bout, out of the Next Edge Academy, Payton Heckle.
Pretty sure I've seen this young man training.
From Victory Boxing Club, Luis Ochoa.
Been to that Next Edge Academy gym a few times.
Very
over the
high-level
years.
coaches out of there.
Yes.
His coach Ian Ricci in the corner there. He's got a chance to go to the Olympic Training Center. He is silver certified, along with Bruce Hoyer, who's putting on the event here. Actually, was one of 8 people selected to go to the very first ever gold level certification at the Olympic Training Center for a week. So we're in very good hands here with him putting on the fight.
Absolutely.
And what a huge honor for somebody from Sioux Falls to be one of the first to ever be invited to that.
Yes.
Hold those strikes out in zone 1. I need you to go in zone 1, brother. Go right there.
Nice exchanges right now between the two. Now you've got 2 orthodox boxers, so they're both right-handers.
There you go. Find those angles. Circle the weak side. Circle the weak
Nice movement.
There you go. You're pulling us right away from it. Circle it. Get that head moving. Pyramid. Go through your pyramid. There you go. I see it.
Very good head movement out of Payton. Again, we're looking at two fighters that I wouldn't think had under a year of training. That is just fun to watch the talent levels and how much things have changed over the years.
Inside hit it. Inside hit it. Go again. Keep going. That's it. You got it. Go again. Now relax. Now relax on it.
Changing punches even after getting hit. You got to love the heart that these both guys have.
You know, when I'm coaching, it's one of the biggest things I preach is anything offensive ends with defense. You can't have your head in the same lane when you ended your punch. You got to move. And we're seeing a really good habit of that from both of these two fighters. Good level changes.
Payton going after the body a little bit there. Luis needs to spin out of the corner.
Crowd really getting into this fight here. A lot of action already. High pace. Again, this is one of those things, I mean, I'd love to see that these two keep this pace up for the full 3 rounds.
10 seconds. I need a punch out.
Good long punches from Luis.
Great round.
This next round, I'd like to see Luis use that jab. Maybe get a little bit more of a distance, pop that thing out there, make Payton respect it. Payton's been able to move in on him pretty quickly, and if he just snaps that jab out there, I believe he can kind of hold Payton out at a range that'd be more comfortable for him.
How did you used to refer to that when you were helping me coach up in Grand Forks, like snapping a towel?
Yeah, snapping a towel. That jab, how you snap a towel and it's got that little whip right at the end, that little snap. That's really the flick of your wrist at the end of that jab. You know, when I'm coaching, I tell my guys, hey, we don't flick a jab, we snap a jab. If you're just pawing that jab out there, guys are going to walk through that all day long. You need them to respect that thing. Snap it out there every time. Even if you're just range finding, I don't want to see you flicking it out there to range find. I want to see you snapping it out there so that they don't know if you're feinting, range finding, or actually officially throwing that jab.
I used to tell the young guys is treat your jab like a cobra, the way a cobra strikes the snake. Just as fast as you can get it out there.
Luis coming on the attack now. Good 1-2.
Payton trying to put a little pressure on to get him onto the ropes.
There we go. Attaboy. Bring him here. There we go. I need you to punch last now.
Just a little bit ago, Payton had a little nice duck and head movement that you don't normally see in first-year boxers.
Yeah, he's one of us doing a really good job of ending that combination defensively. You see him there, too. He threw that 2 and still pulled away.
Luis keeps trying to cut off the ring. He's trying to get Payton into a corner. Some boxers just prefer to stand in the middle of the ring and exchange, do a small circle in the center of the ring. Some like using the whole ring and get back out on the edges of the ropes. Looks like Luis switched to southpaw now. Did it so smoothly I didn't notice it. Now he's back to right hand.
Switching back and forth. You know, you see more of that. I know growing up for me, they said never to switch stances, and you're seeing a lot more of that now. You know, maybe some of the MMA being incorporated where they're seeing success with that with different guys out there. The Dominic Cruzes of the world that did that and didn't seem to have an issue with crossing their feet. So, but that's the biggest thing we got to watch over is make sure they're not crossing their feet incorrectly.
10 seconds. I need it, buddy.
Ooh, coming out strong at the end here now, Luis. Trying to steal that round away.
Yep. Those boxers hear that little wooden pounding on the table, a piece of wood. It sounds like they pound on the table when there's 10 seconds left, and the fighters know. Even the coaches are yelling at them.
Burn out.
Burn out. Yeah. Go for it.
I've been a part of that when you were coaching, hitting the bag, telling me to burn out. keep going till the bell, keep going to the bell. And then I look back and you turned the bell off 4 minutes ago.
Just to see the endurance.
Yeah.
Payton's favorite fighter is Floyd Mayweather. You got to respect Floyd Mayweather. What a career he had.
Great coaches out of there, too. I've got a chance over the years to be mentored by Otis Pimpleton Jr., one of the head coaches, now Floyd's head coach out of there. Got to visit the gym a couple times. And as big as that gym is, they will just let you come in open arms. So you can walk in off the street, look around. Very welcoming there at the Mayweather Boxing Gym.
It's nice. I've never been there. I'll have to check it out sometime.
2 minutes. 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Everything you got, baby. That's where I want you to go, right there.
This is the round that shows the conditioning. If the conditioning's there, you can still punch with power if you didn't burn out in the first 2 rounds.
And so far, neither one of them slowing down. And you know, for those that never box, a 2-minute round it's not an easy task. People think that, oh man, like I could go for a minute, 2 minutes, even in a pro bout, 3 minutes, and then you do 1 round and you're like, what is happening here? That's a lot.
Pyramid, low then high. Pyramid, low then high.
Hearing really good instructions from Coach Ricci, talking different zones, ranges, different combo names that they've established for themselves.
Payton doing some head movement there. Luis just kind of fending him off and pushing him onto the ropes.
Luis not afraid to move forward. He keeps walking into that
Yeah,
stuff.
he's just going to keep stepping forward.
These two are just 2 bulls colliding. Neither one of them wanting to take a back step for the most part.
And they're right in front of us. Thank God for 4 ropes that had been on our lap.
That's true. Glove getting caught in the ropes there. Ref Juan stepping in, letting them separate.
I'd like to see a little bit more double jab work from both of these guys. But at
10
least
seconds left. We'll see these guys go at it now. We're going to see nonstop punches from both of them, I think.
Here the coach is saying, go, 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 go. Gotta love it. Great fight. Great bout.
Luis shaking his head. I think he's disappointed in himself for that one, but I don't think he should be disappointed.
No.
I mean, I think he was coming forward the whole time. He didn't seem to be giving up in there. You know, he was working the jab, still throwing some combos, putting it together.
He was focused. There's no doubt about it. You know, over the years, Tanner, what I've seen that, you know, both in the gym and at matches like this is boxing actually builds confidence in these young men, which is great to see. And it's not just confidence in boxing, it's confidence that they take outside the ring in general life, be it school or when they get jobs. It's just a great thing for these kids that are involved in it. Blue corner winner here, Payton. He's happy. And as they exit to go see the officials, they get checked by the ringside physician before they can head over to get changed out. You know, you mentioned Bruce getting that honor to going down to become a gold certified official, and you're right, that's a big deal. The Colorado Springs Olympic Training Center there is phenomenal. I went there years and years ago to get certified to be able to certify officials, that so that we didn't in North Dakota have to pay somebody to fly into or drive into North Dakota to hold the clinics to certify the officials. So when you go down there, you're staying in the dorms that the athletes stay in. You're eating in the same all-you-can-eat buffet that the athletes eat at, and those cooks there, they are cooking great, nutritious meals. They're making suggestions based on what the athlete's trying to do or not do. So I'm sure he had a great time when he was there. I haven't had a chance yet to talk to him about it, but I hope to in one of my next future visits if I don't make it over to the gym tomorrow if he's there.
Well, I know they were picking his brain on the technology he uses. As you can see, he is no stranger to technology and being up on different forms of training. And, you know, I know in our jiu-jitsu classes, everything is a reverse classroom. We're watching some videos before we come in and all on our slightly different curriculum and just looking at ways to incorporate that into the boxing side of things too. And I know they were picking his brain pretty heavily on just our different training methods that we utilize there at Next Edge Academy. If you're looking to get into boxing too, if you're in the area, head over to nextedgeacademy.com. We do have beginner programs. You can sign up. Really good program, huge classes for our main classes, but very private, small classes for those that are looking to get into it. You don't even have to be a competitor. You don't have to be one of these guys out here that are looking to fight. Jump into the, you know, if you're looking to get in shape, all ages. If you're just looking to get in shape, looking to even have camaraderie, just something to do, very good program we got going on over there, nextedgeacademy.com. Head over there, sign up, and maybe we'll see you there next week.
So we,
Report about Payton out of the blue corner from 605 Boxing MMA. Okay, out of the red corner from Victory Boxing Club, Josh Jung. And out of the blue corner from 605 Boxing MMA, Alexander Rivas.
introduction's been done. We got in the red corner. We got Josh Jung fighting for the Gym Victory Boxing Club, coached by Servando. Blue corner is Alexander Rivas. He fights for 605 Boxing and MMA, and his coach is Jason. So we'll see what these guys have in them at the start of round one. They're a little bit heavier than the last guys are at 154. That was my natural weight when I used to box, even though my tournament weight was 147. So they're really close to what I used to box at.
Nice angle changes there too. He went from that right lead to that number 6 there, that right uppercut for Alexander. Looking to parry some punches. Alexander looking to counter.
Little feeler jabs out there. Not really touching anything.
Ref warning not to measure. And that's going to be a difference from the amateur side to the pro side. You can't be holding your hand out there with the measurement. We got to just be throwing our punches out.
I'd like to see Josh step to the side when he backs up, when he's backing away from his opponent, not always just going 2 or 3 steps backwards, 1 step back to the left, to the right, whatever. Get out, get a different angle, you know.
Hey, you're making a miss. Let's make you pay for it, Alex. There you go.
Doing a good job of covering up Josh.
Pin her down again. I want you staying there. Punch with him, Alex.
Alexander more on the defensive side now.
Bobbing and weaving.
Be ready. Be ready. Short time, Alex.
Ref giving a warning about grabbing the back of the head. And when you see guys that are newer to the boxing here too, I'm seeing Josh with four months of training. We do have, I guess, Alexander with 2 years, but that can happen sometimes. You miss on your punch and your hand's kind of the back of the head and it pulls back.
Hey, let's finish this round, Alex. Let's finish this round. Let's go. There you go. There you go.
Be interesting to see if Alexander trains on the MMA side too. I know a lot of guys do the crossover training, especially coming from his gym that does have some MMA in it. And looking here, his favorite fighter is Paddy Pimblin. So UFC fighter, actually has a fight coming up against Michael Chandler here coming up in a week. Excuse me, that fight might be tonight actually. I think I might be off on my weeks here. Yeah.
That means I might get a chance to see it since I'm not traveling tonight.
That's true.
You know, Josh, in his dream fight, he would be fighting Canelo. So it's fun to hear from these guys as to who their favorite fighters are, who they'd love to have a fight with in a great fight.
Ooh, knockdown there. Couldn't tell if that was landed punch or off balance. Technically, it would be considered a knockdown because I believe the punch landed, but I think he was just a little off balance there more than anything. So
Almost looked like his foot got caught by Alexander.
yeah, Alexander.
At the same time as the punch was going.
I said that wrong. It's actually his dream fight was Paddy Pimblett, but his favorite fighter is actually Lomachenko. So I'll be watching now this next round to see if he pulls out any of that Lomachenko movement, spinning around and moving.
Alexander got into boxing for self-defense, and it's amazing what it can do for young people that are thinking of taking up the sport to learn self-defense. It's not a bad idea to learn it, so that you don't, when you're put in a bad situation, you know, of course you do a lot of running for boxing to get in good shape with your lungs. And that way, if you're in a situation outside the ring, out in the public, you could just turn around and run. You can run faster and further than the person giving you a bad time. You don't have to know how to fight, right?
You don't have to know a fight. You just got to be in shape and get away from him.
Yeah.
I used to tell that to my guys. I can teach you one move or you'll never, ever lose a fight. And I would show them how to turn around and run. You're not going to win one, but nobody ever really wins anyways.
That's right. For a lot of boxers, this is like a chess match. You know, you move, I counter move. Punch, block punches, counter punch. The sweet science.
Good 1-2 from Josh. You know, and those 1-2s aren't always just to land. You're reading your opponent too. How is he going to be reacting off that 2? Where can I follow up after that? Maybe I'm going to switch up that angle off that 2 next time. Maybe I'm coming up the middle with it. Maybe I'm going down low.
So now that we're in the second round, it's interesting to see what changes some of these guys may have made because of what they caught from their coaches between rounds.
Alexander being warned again about measuring, leaving, kind of pawing that jab, as I was saying before, leaving it out there like he's doing right there. Referee probably going to step in again.
Double ups inside.
Notice how the hands get down a little bit lower as the round goes on. They're not up in front of the face, and above, you know, shoulders or above the shoulders. I keep hearing this whirring sound, and I look around and I see guys jumping rope behind us.
Skipping rope behind us, getting warmed up for their fight.
Thought there was something wrong with my headset. Now he's fighting southpaw again. I'm sorry, Josh is. Trying to throw a little feint out there. He wants to see if his southpaw style makes
What's interesting,
Alexander confused.
What's interesting though, when he switches to southpaw, he's keeping that lead hand really low. When you have the opposites here, when you have your orthodox versus southpaw, you got to keep that lead hand really high.
Now the best thing any of these boxers in today's event can do is watch their match back, right? Because, you know, you can have somebody outside telling you you're dropping your hands, and yeah, they probably come up a little bit when you hear somebody say get your hands up, but when you watch a video of yourself, you start self-correcting a bunch of the stuff that you should be correcting.
Absolutely. Technology's really helped people advance. I use it a lot in the gym right now. Back to a slow-mo camera. We're going to go frame by frame. We're going to check you from your feet all the way up to your shoulders, essentially, even down to your wrist movement. What's moving first? You know, perfect timing of that punch. Your wrist is actually going to start moving forward first before anything else, before your shoulders, your hips, any of that. For the timing to be perfect, your wrist should be moving forward first.
Not as fast pace here at the end of the round. Here, the 10-second warning coming out.
See if he's going to finish strong in the corner here, back him in.
Have to have a talk with that referee and make him stand on the other side of the ring so we can see what the boxers are doing. You know, I was thinking on the drive down here from Grand Forks that back in 1978 when I got into boxing, so 47 years ago, boxing was called AAU for Amateur Athletic Union. And then over the years it changed to ABA, Amateur Boxing Association, and now it's USA Boxing. So it's interesting seeing those changes over the years, as well as watching rule changes. You never used to be able to yell from a corner as a coach, and now you can. And I agree with it. I think you should be able to, because it's a safety thing for the fighters when you're telling your fighter to get his hands up. Here we are at the start of the third round. Josh again from Victory Gym and Alexandra from 605 Boxing. This gets to decide it, guys.
Alexander really being patient. It's almost like the coaches gave him a read in the corner. He's looking for something. He's watching for something. I'm guessing he wants to throw that overhand right over top of that jab.
Josh is trying to bend down and throw from a different angle than what he was in the first couple rounds.
We'll see if he pulls some of that Lomo here as he backs him into the corner, spin to the side, dig under that elbow. Ooh, I'd like to see Josh keep doing that. Keep applying that pressure.
Yeah.
I think he's fighting better going forward, and it's making Alexander fight a little different on the back step.
As Alexander was coming around by us, Josh needed to get his outside foot to the right a little bit quicker to cut the ring off, so Alexander couldn't keep going around the outside of the ring. But they figure that out after they have enough matches. Coaches pointed out, they watched the video, they go, okay, I could have done this, and it would have slowed him up from getting away from me.
Feet getting a little squared up.
Yep.
You're going to see most fighters with that bladed stance just to reduce the amount of points. Now, when you get them on the ropes, so you are going to see more of that neutral stance where the legs become a little bit more squared up, the hips squared up to the body. That's where that power is going to come from. But when at a distance like this, you're going to see more of a bladed stance.
You know, talking about squaring up and being in close and trying to get power kind of reminds me of the days that I would do the hard 2-3 drill with our boxers, and because that alternated which hand you were throwing power with on the heavy bag. And what I haven't done yet is shown that to my grandson or my granddaughter, who are both boxing. Except they're not boxing today, but they started training, which is great to see them getting involved in that, amongst many other sports that they're doing.
You see Josh backing into the corner. He's got the opportunity to corner him there.
Needs to throw that jab with a little more respect, a little more snap. Make it hard.
When I explain it to my guys, I tell them, flick your thumb towards the ground. There's a difference of over-rotating, but really that snap comes from the outside, but really the snap of the towel is really flicking that thumb downwards at the end of your punch.
Big finish here, Alex. Big finish.
10-second signal came out. Now we'll see how many punches these guys can throw in that last 10 seconds.
We'll see the Rock'em
There
Sock'em
you
robots
go.
right here.
Great bout. These guys are very evenly matched, Tanner.
That was a fun one to watch.
Josh said when I asked what made you get into boxing, he said, I just love the sport. You know, it's, as you look around here from even long before this thing started today, this morning as the place was getting set up for these boxing matches, when you see the number of people that are coaches and the judges and the referees and the timekeepers and all that, there's a lot of people that give a lot of their time. They donate their time in a sense. They commit themselves to making this a fun event for these young boxers, so got to tip your hat to them.
And your winner for bout number 4, out of the blue corner,
So Alexander gets himself a win, and Josh should not hang his head low. You just go back to the gym. You work on things that'll make yourself better, and watch the video, and he will improve.
Quite a few fans here for Alexander too. They got really loud here at this sold-out MGM Grand Arena that we're in here. I think we're at a crowd of 65,000 right now.
I think you're off a little bit. I think
Slightly
it's
off.
closer to 75,000.
Well, like you say, I had 8 fights of which I lost 15. So
Yeah. It's funny. I was thinking about that on the drive down here too. When I said that one time, and somebody looked at me like, "How do you lose 15 fights when you have 8 fights?" I just said I lost so bad they just marked it as 2 losses. Got to have a little fun, right?
absolutely. I say that at work all the time. If I make a mistake, I just look at everyone and go, sorry guys, I've been punched a lot.
So in our red corner, it looks like we have Jake Castro coming up from King James Boxing Club, and in the blue corner we got Alan Garcia from Siouxland Junior Boxing. Alan's been training for 5 years with boxing, and 3 years for Jake.
Starting with the red corner from King James Boxing, Jake Castro. And in the blue corner from Siouxland Junior Boxing Club, Alan Garcia.
Coach asking for him to cut him off, looking for some head movement. Very crisp jab right now too for Jake. Both fighters looking really composed, and now you can see some of that difference here. We got, you said one of them training for 5 years, the other one training for 3. Alan's coach asking him to work the body.
Guys weighed in at 143 pounds, and it's some crisp punching I see going on here.
Really throwing everything into the punches. You hear him breathing through them. Look for Jake to spin off these ropes.
Jake up and down, trying to make sure he's not giving a steady target for Alan to throw punches at.
Jake, another one that's switching his stance throughout the fight too. You see him in orthodox right into a southpaw. Now he's in that southpaw stance.
Alan just did it a little bit ago too. He went southpaw and then he switched back right away.
Back to southpaw for Alan as well now. Then right back to orthodox.
Now, the power of these punches and the frequency with somebody that's been 3-5 years, you're probably going to see that closer. If they get into round 3, you're going to see that then too. Usually somebody who's been boxing for 3 and 5 years has the endurance when it gets to that 3rd round to still throw with power.
And both these guys just landing a huge power shot on each other just a minute ago. Jake with a huge overhand right. Our mouthpiece dropped out. We're going to get a rinse of the mouthpiece back to action. But these two are both throwing with bad intention.
Oh, yes, they are. Again, another match where these guys are very evenly matched. Boxer forgot his teeth guard. I should say maybe the coach forgot to put it in for the boxer.
Is he pulling one of the old tricks he used to pull on me?
Yeah.
Drop the mouthpiece.
Rinse it off, drop it again. Breathe, deep, breathe, son.
Ooh, huge exchange of punches there.
It's thunderous sounds here where I'm sitting.
You could feel that impact from my chair when both of them landed. We almost saw a Rocky Apollo moment there. I think we're going to see some fire here in this round from both these guys. Great body shot.
Nice uppercut there.
Good uppercut from Jake as well.
Jake, yep. And then Allen returns the favor with an uppercut. Nice inside work, both guys. And notice the footwork. Their legs are not, their feet aren't that far apart, which is good. You don't want them to be too far apart. It minimizes the chance for you to move back away from a punch that quickly, or move into a punch for power too, if your feet are too spread out.
Allen's coach asked him to let that right hand go. Now getting a standing 8 count for Jake.
Again, just a safety thing. The referee is going to give him his 8 seconds, and he's going to look at him, make sure he's okay.
We'll see if Marco continues to put the pressure on him now after that standing 8 count. Jake breathing really heavy here. Showing a lot of heart.
Jake said love of the sport is what got him into boxing. His favorite part of training is hitting the bag. Well, yeah, I can see that. The way he boxes here.
Ooh, huge overhand right from Allen there, whose favorite fighter is Triple G. So I can see that happening
Another
too.
Triple G. His favorite part of training is sparring. Who doesn't love sparring?
A lot of these guys, all these guys are sparring.
Yeah.
So. Allen's dream fight is also Ryan Garcia. I don't know if I'd want to be up against that speed.
Needs to spin out of that corner, Jake. Allen needs to keep him in the corner. Don't let him escape.
Back up just slightly and not take away from his power. His smother just slightly
Yes.
there.
Yep.
But I think he was doing that to try to hold him into the corner. He knew we were
Exactly.
at the end of the round there, and he was really trying to hold him off.
Yep. Good catch there.
I was asking Allen for another crazy fact about himself, and he said he likes to sleep. And I bet he's going to sleep hard after this fight. These guys are throwing so heavy, coming at each other. They're making me tired. In between rounds here, I'm just going to hit on our sponsors. We got Tata's Trading Cards, Breaking Burrito, biggest burritos you're ever going to see, Walsh Polygraph, Integrated Care, and Clubhouse Hotel. If you're in the area looking for a place to sleep, head over to Clubhouse Hotel.
I'm looking for one of those burritos. But I'll have to wait till the event's over.
And the quesadillas are incredible, and he's got a really special guac. If you have not had the guac that's on there, my wife's been trying to get the recipe from him.
Sounds like I know what I'm eating tonight.
This is where conditioning is really going to show through
Yes.
for both of them now.
Referee stopped the contest. Boxer's shaking his head. Jake doesn't agree.
Either that or he's disappointed in himself, too. You know, it could be one of those things where he's just kind of like, bummer, you know. Because the thing is, both of them, skill-wise, are really talented. I think that Allen just had the edge there when it came to the cardio.
On the bright side, it's not an advancing match like regional, state tournament to go to a regional tournament, or regional to go to a national. But again, safety orientated, which is one of the things I respected about amateur boxing. We have blue corner Alan Garcia from Siouxland Junior Boxing winning this match.
You know what's funny is he said, what do you do for fun when you're not boxing? And he said he's in school for auto body collision. Looks like he was in the ring for body collision as well. Smashing into each other.
That's true. A fun fact about him, though, is he's like my hero. He likes to sleep.
That's what I was saying. I go, he's going to sleep hard after this fight.
Oh. Well, a lot of great people here at this event, both the fans as well as the people putting on the show. Very qualified, very professional. All their paperwork is in order. I mean, they're running a very tight ship here. You know, I'm sitting near where I can see the coaches and corner sign-in sheet. I can see who's got judging assignments, and sitting with at the table that I'm at has got the ringside physicians, so that those guys check on the boxers when they get out of the ring. They've also checked them prior to the match to make sure they didn't have high blood pressure and whatnot. And a lot of this stuff is documented in the boxer. They get a book when they get in with USA Boxing, and it records how many fights they've had. So you can't. Back when I started, they didn't have books. They implemented.
They chiseled it in stone?
Well, not quite that old. But it was a time where a coach would say, my boxers had 5 fights, and my coach knew he's had like 35 fights. So you would get these uneven matches, and that's where people would get hurt. And so USA Boxing, or back then AAU Boxing, decided to do or amateur boxing, can't remember who it was, if it was the ABA at the time, decided to do these books where you get a picture, your picture is taken, your date of birth is put in there, all your bouts are put in there, blood pressures are put in there, so you have a record of how many times you fought. So now we have in the red corner Jimmy Lira. Is that how I'm seeing that? From Victory Boxing Club. In the blue corner, we've got Ryland Foot out of King James Boxing.
Coming out of the gate here, we got a southpaw versus orthodox again. A lot of southpaws. We've seen a lot of southpaws today. Or at least some people that are switching both. Ryland with really good head movement right out of the gate. You know, a lot of people don't realize, too, that's a cardio as well. So if you're not training for that head movement and you get out here and you're just trying to evade punches, that's going to slow you down in later rounds. We'll see if he keeps that same pace of that defensive movement throughout the entire fight.
Both these fighters have been at it for about a year, so I'm impressed with what I'm seeing so far, the combinations, the movement, the hands up.
Good check hook off him. He did a little step back left hook for Ryland. And again, right there, he threw that it was kind of a 4, and immediately moved down, moved his head out of the lane. So anything offensive ends with defense. Again, right there, that 1-2 slipped under. If there's a thing I could teach young fighters about taking it to the next level, is exactly that. Always move your head out of the lane after your combo. You'd be surprised how less you get hit. I was just talking to a fighter at the gym that just incorporated that. He came up to me and said, "Man, I'm getting hit way less." I said, "Weird, huh? Move your head out of the lane, you get hit less."
So me using my head to stop the opponent's punch didn't slow him up, tire him up.
Good head movements from Jimmy as well.
Yeah, Jimmy's pressuring him, get him up on the ropes. From the red corner there, good job. Both guys, great round. End of the first round.
Two-minute rounds. They're only 15.
So if you heard off my mic, this is 2-minute rounds based on their ages. Gee, I remember when I was boxing and I had to do the 3-minute rounds, and I'm like, what? When I was coaching later on, and all these 2-minute rounds and 1-minute rounds is like, come on, I'm just getting warmed up in 1 minute. That wouldn't be the case now. Like I said, there's some great officials around this event with paperwork. Just was showing some facts and some sheets here. It's great to have people like this at events like this here. You know, people don't realize all that has to come into play in order for a sanctioned boxing match to happen. And again, it's for everybody's safety.
Explosive movement right away from these two. Non-stop action. A lot of body work too. I've been seeing that today, and I really like that trend of not just seeing the simple 1-1-2, 1-1-2. We're seeing people switching those levels, starting their combos with a body shot, ending with a body shot. Even there with that lead uppercut.
And these guys are doing some 3, 4, and 5 punch combinations, which is nice to see too. A lot of times it's just 1-2 or 1-2-3 punches, right?
Using some nice head movement to get out of the ropes there. Ryland was saying he got into boxing because he was bored. Can you imagine be sitting on the couch bored and say, you know what, I think I want to go get punched in the face. That's what I want to do. I'm just bored.
Well, what got Jimmy into boxing was his cousin. Now, if that was anything like my family, it was maybe I was defending myself as my cousin. Decided he didn't like what I did, right?
Absolutely.
These guys get
Jimmy's got him backed into the corner here.
Yeah, Ryland doesn't seem, he's comfortable in the corner. Doesn't mind fighting off the ropes. Oh, nice left hook by Ryland. And then followed by a right. Jimmy's countering. Nice duck there by Jimmy.
Jimmy's pace slightly slowing down here, and he might be, I was just going to say, kind of reserving that energy to load up, and he threw a big right hand there.
This Victory Boxing Club, these guys are pretty well trained as we are getting ready for round 3 here. You see it on the back of his jersey, and if you can see, his coach has it on there too. So I've been impressed with the boxers that I've seen coming out of that gym.
Big showing from their gym too. They showed a lot of support. A lot of the fighters that didn't even get matches today out here cheering on their teammates. You know, Ryland, you know, we asked him who he would want to fight in his dream fight. You know what he said? Batman. And I guess if you're going to fight a superhero, Batman might be the guy to fight. So, you know, somebody that doesn't have a lot of the, you know, he's got some cool techie stuff, but he's not going to laser beam you down with his eyes or fly around. And on top of that, he's rich, and most of the guys I ever got a fight in, or that I got in a fight with, I ended up becoming friends with. So if you're going to fight a guy like Batman who's actually rich, and then you can hang out with your rich buddy.
Yeah,
who's
there
a superhero.
you go. I like your thinking.
Yeah.
So the start of round 3, let's see if Jimmy from Victory in the red corner or Roland from King James in the blue corner has enough juice in their engine or their tank to pull this off. To be honest with you, this bout right now could go either way from the first 2 rounds. So a lot of it's going to be decided right here.
Ryland's starting to keep his hands really low. His head movement's still there.
Right.
And the head movement was what was helping him a lot in that first round. Really defensive movement to counter off of that.
Jimmy's just coming forward. I like to say that's a southpaw trait, that they just keep coming forward and keep plugging away since I was a southpaw. Nice downstairs, upstairs work from Jimmy. Good job getting out of the corner by Ryland.
Yeah, he used some really good footwork that a lot of guys practice with T-tape on the floor there. But if you watch, he stepped to his right with his left foot first, moved his head down to get off angle, and then spun out.
You know, teaching that isn't easy either. You got to practice it, you know, and you almost got to do it in slow motion, and you do it over and over, and you do it more than one day. You do it day after day after day. You do it multiple times for a long time, and then it becomes just second nature when the guys are in that position in a ring, and they do it, and they went, oh, wow, I know why we were doing that drill now. I've watched you, Tanner, show that with the tape, and you do a great job of explaining it and making them understand why they want to get spun out or get away in that manner.
Huge
like
punches
10
coming from
seconds
both
left.
fighters.
Yes.
Now Ryland really exploding off there. And I might have been saying what I was saying earlier, reserving some of that energy to have an explosive end of the fight. So
Can
we
sway
saw that
the
right
judges. That can actually sway the judges.
there. Yeah, a lot of line drills. You're going to see that. Most great coaches are going to coach you from the floor up. So we're going to make sure your footwork looks great. We're going to move on to the hips, and then last is going to be your arms. You can really have some work to do if you have somebody that is not throwing things properly from the feet down. Their hands might look great, but if they don't have their balance, it's going to be a struggle for them on the defensive side, on the movement side, and that's really where you got to work from a fighter from the feet up.
Jimmy says from the red corner, when he's not boxing, he's playing soccer. That's a lot of running, so that should help his endurance.
Absolutely.
And your winner for number 6, fighting out of the red corner.
So Jimmy pulled off a win in that. Again, very close match. Ryland, don't hang your head down. You fought a great fight. I would love watching you two box again and look at the sportsmanship. you know, Jimmy decided to hang the medal over Ryland and smiled at him, shook his hand, and look at here, you know, holding the ropes for the opponent.
And the paparazzi immediately coming over to get pictures with the fighters.
Before he
You know.
sees the doctor.
That may be mom too, but you know, we're just gonna go with paparazzi.
Oh, yeah, I
We're-
think paparazzi's better, yeah. News media want to get an interview with him, right?
That's right. We'll hit on our sponsors are here again as we're waiting for the fighters into the ring. We have Tata's Trading Cards, Breaking Burrito, we have Walsh Polygraph, Integrated Care, and Clubhouse Hotel. And if you're looking to get into boxing, you're in the Sioux Falls area or any of the surrounding towns, head over to nextedgeacademy.com. We do have a beginner's program. You don't have to be put into the main class if you're just looking not to be a fighter, you're looking to get in shape. That is the majority of our classes. I would say 80-90% are just people who want to get in shape, have a camaraderie, get to meet people, and just learn a really cool self-defense. Head over to nextedgeacademy.com, sign up for the beginner's program, and come have a great time.
You don't have to commit for a year, right?
No, you don't.
So it's kind of funny because those that I know that have started just thought they would try it out. Like back in Grand Forks in my day, you know, they tried it out for a month or two or maybe for the first year, and they were back a second year because they were hooked. You know, for me, I started because a guy that I was training broke his neck before his first fight falling off a garage, and he had a bet with his parents that he'd win a state title, so I decided to try to get it. In 3 bouts, I won the state title, and I was going to quit, but I was too hooked. 76 fight career after that, and I know why these guys do this day in and day out because it's really fun. Looks like we have another Victory Boxing Club member in here. So Brian in the blue corner from Victory Boxing Club, and we got Johnny Bautista from 605 MMA. A couple 154 pounders here. A little bit more experience. These guys aren't beginners.
All right, our blue corner, look like we had a typo on there. Brian is who we got here. Brian Molina.
Brian getting Johnny in the corner. Johnny quickly moves out of the corner, doesn't want to be there. I don't blame him. I didn't like being in the corner myself.
Good one, too.
Yes.
And using that movement then, too. Ooh, you see him, the little feint there, and he went feint above with that three, with that little long left hook. He looked like he was going to snap a jab and came around the outside with that left hook.
Now, these two aren't throwing as many punches and as fast as the last group, but match, but sometimes that experience says, okay, I got to pace myself a little bit. I'm going to save some for the second round, for the third round.
Working that body. I
Nice
like when guys get on the ropes and immediately go to the body. It's one of the biggest things I scream.
And you don't see that very often. Johnny, when he got on the ropes and, you know, Brian was hitting him with body shots, Johnny threw an uppercut from the ropes. You don't see that in too many boxers. It was great to see that.
Most guys, when they have their back to the ropes, they have a tendency to lean back, which is what opens up and exposes that body. So it's really great to dig to the outside under the elbow like he just tried there on the right-hand side there,
Threw
Molina.
another all right uppercut from back on the ropes. What's your favorite punch? Uppercut from the ropes.
Yeah, use that bounce off the ropes. Lean back, throw that
Oh,
6.
nice counter right hand by Johnny. Brian's like, that didn't phase me. I'm coming after you. Again, both these boxers seem to be very well coached.
Slow
taking
walk
their
down,
time.
being patient. Yep.
Yep. Looking to pick their shots.
See, in this situation there, he went to a more neutral stance there for half second. He was right back to a bladed stance, but he was starting to go to a neutral stance to just unload on the ropes there.
Yeah, we got the end of the round, so we'll be coming up on round 2.
You know, asking Brian who his dream fight would be. I think he's looking for a payday. You know who he said? He wants to fight Jake Paul or Logan Paul.
Oh,
I think
yes.
that is.
That's where the money is.
You know, and I will say I was one of these guys that was absolutely against Jake Paul in the beginning. But for anyone that's actually been around boxing to know, to be able to go 8 rounds, regardless of whoever you are out there, on whatever side of the coin you're on, if you think that it's scripted or whatever, just get in there and spar for 8 rounds. That's not
Yes.
easy to do.
Yes.
Jake's been putting in work, and in the difference that I've seen in him from the beginning of his career to now, I got to respect that. Now,
Yes.
is there some antics and different things that I don't agree with? 100%. I'm there with everyone else. I was probably his biggest hater, but from a boxing standpoint, you got to give him respect for what he's been doing and all that. And if you're Brian, I agree with you. I would want to take that fight, and I would take it for the payday. So.
Exactly. You know, and it's kind of funny because look at the age of these guys. You know, his dream fight for Johnny would be Julio Cesar Chavez.
Yeah.
One of the greats from when I was 18, 19, 20 years old, 40-some years ago, right?
Coach Servando asking for a jab to the body and then to come over top. And there it was. Brian feeling out his range.
Johnny's family grew up boxing, and that's what got him into it. And he said it seemed cool. That was a good choice. Nice work.
Ooh, I like that. He
Nice
didn't completely
counter.
spin out the ropes. He just turned an angle slightly, Johnny did, and then immediately fired back.
Countered punch, yep. Oh, nice duck there. Brian keeps putting the pressure on.
Johnny feels comfortable in that corner. Like, you notice he sat there. He had the opportunity to spin out of that corner, and it's like he was waiting for Brian to come in at him.
There, Johnny ducked and had Brian missing, swinging past the ropes there. But Brian's still connecting on some of those, so. Nice head movement by Brian there.
There, Brian, digging under that elbow. That's what we're
Yeah.
always teaching the fighters. Look underneath that elbow on the backside there.
Exactly.
So you'll see it on that right side. He's going to dig under that elbow again here in a minute, I would guess. Good job on Johnny getting off those ropes, spinning out of there. I'd like to see Johnny snap that jab a little bit more here, keep him at bay. Both fighters taking a deep breath here.
Down up. I'm seeing a lot of down up here too. Bob and weave. Lower that head, do the circle. Brian's doing a great job of that.
There, digging under that elbow again. This is the time when you got guys breathing heavy, we got to be attacking that body. It's unbelievable what that'll do to the human as yourself. You're just going to take your legs away, it takes everything away. It's almost impossible to stand when you take a really good body shot when you're already exhausted.
Oh, nice head movement by Johnny.
You know, this is another difference between amateurs and pros here too. As guys get more advanced in their careers, you're going to see a guy like on Johnny's side of things that's against the ropes. He could just tie up here. Tie up, let the ref break him. That's another way to be defensive there, right there. Just wrap up those arms. Let the ref step in, get a little breather.
For those of you out there watching live stream, you've been watching these guys bob their head down and circle around with their heads to avoid punches, and it's great. It's hard to teach that. I remember back when Tanner and I were coaching, we used to do a down-up drill with our boxers, and some of the young kids that were in their first year of boxing, when they got out in the ring again, because we did it so much during gym time and practice time, they were turning around and they were saying, hey, they were just doing it. Coaches were coming up to us saying, how is that possible that you got these guys doing that? And I just said it's drill, 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 drill at the gym so that it becomes second nature for them. Now I noticed too, these guys are standing between rounds. I used to do that a lot when I was boxing.
I was just going to bring that up. You know, both guys choosing to not use the stool in between rounds here.
Sometimes it seems like when you sit and then you stand up, there's something in the legs that just don't seem right for me. So
I was the opposite. I wanted to take that quick breather, sit down, relax. Coach Servando in the blue corner asking him to stay on that body. Probably seeing what I was seeing too. And you got a fighter breathing heavy again. We just want to chop down that tree. We're going to continue to go after that body. Johnny trying to stick behind that jab and move on the outside. And you can see him keeping his elbows low now, which tells me that those body shots are probably starting to get to him.
Taking effect, which is going to open up the head for some shots. He needs to spin out of there and work from outside the ring for a while, in the center of the ring for a while. Start using that jab. He had some great overhand rights and counters earlier.
Digging under that elbow again here now. We're going to see him. He's kind of changed up his pace. He's not just throw, throw, throw. It's kind of throw, pause, throw. He's looking for those openings. He's looking for the fighter on the ropes, looking for Johnny to show him something that he can slip in on. And there, Johnny, the body shot taking him down.
Body shots.
3, 4, 5, 6.
You know, we're at a disadvantage. We're near one corner. We can hear the coaches. I can't hear the coaches from across the way here. So let's see how this finishes up here, guys.
Coach asking him right back to the body, which is the right thing to do here when you got somebody that's already been dropped from body shot. Now you got to be careful though to not keep your hands low as you're coming in, because that fighter's looking to get out of this too. And usually when they get out of it, it's because they're going to throw that explosive big overhand right. So right there, if he's got his hands low trying to work that body, you're going to see Johnny probably try to throw that big overhand right coming through there. He poked one through.
Did a right, left again. So he hasn't been throwing many punches, so now is Johnny throwing with more power?
This is where
Brian would know.
This is where that was the rounds of a hard 2-3 will really come into place for a guy like Brian, where if you're baiting in that heavy shot to the body, so it's like a hard 2-3, hard 2-3.
And you're alternating which hand is hitting with the power.
Correct, yes. We're going to mix that up, which keeps your hands up so you're not exposing yourself to getting caught with that overhand right while trying to go for the finish. Both fighters taking a deep breath here.
Nice counter punch.
They're working that body again. You'll see if Johnny comes over top of that overhand right.
Johnny's going to try to punch out of this. He's going to strong finish.
Johnny sees it there now. He started noticing at the end how he's like, I have an opening here for that right hand.
Yep. Johnny's favorite fighter is Salvador Sanchez. I still like the fact that he'd fight Julio Cesar Chavez in his dream fight. It's great to know that these young fighters are looking back at some of those old timers.
Cool fun fact about Brian, he's got 6 animals at home.
Wow.
Maybe it's like Rocky, maybe it's chickens, and he's chasing around. That's how he got his footwork. Both fighters showing respect to the opposite corner.
And in bout number 7, your winner, out of the blue corner, Ryland.
So Brian pulls off a win in the blue corner from Victory Boxing. Again, great match for both of these guys. I hope they take the time to watch the stream, because I believe it can be viewed afterwards, if I'm not mistaken.
Absolutely, yes. It will be uploaded on YouTube. Rumble at the Falls.
So now those sponsors, Breaking Burrito, you got me intrigued there, but that Tatus trading cards. So I want the people to know that when we talk about trading cards, go in and pay that a visit, because there's actually boxing trading cards out there. And I know because I put a couple full sets together for both my children as well as myself. So go check that out. You know, it doesn't have to just be baseball trading cards. I love the boxing ones. I remember taking them to the gym one time. It was actually that next edge, and we were looking through them, and oh man, look at here, look at here. They
Real
got a
old
few
cards,
signed
black and
ones.
white cards, yeah, signed cards. Virgil Hill, 5-time world champion, silver medalist in the Olympics.
Guess who else is? You've been listening.
So we got coming up out of Fremont Boxing in the blue corner, Taylor Skinner in the red corner. We got Luckman Abdul Hakim out of 605 Boxing. Looks like there's one bout left after this. These are a couple 165 pounders.
And rearing bout of the evening, out of the red corner, from 605 Boxing Heavyweight, Luke Abdal. And out of the blue corner, from Fremont Boxing Club, Taylor Skinner.
In the red corner, his favorite fighter is Manny Pacquiao. I know somebody who had a favorite. It was a favorite boxer.
I've been to a Manny Pacquiao fight.
And you've been to a Manny Pacquiao
I was happened to be on the other side of that, though. I was a big Ricky Hatton fan.
Yes, you
and
were.
did not go well for Ricky Hatton.
But you can also be a Manny Pacquiao fan even when he's not fighting somebody who's your favorite fighter too. These guys starting off fast.
Oh my God, crowd's loving this one.
Yeah.
Throwing with bad intention here.
Oh, that was a good body shot there by Luckman.
Ref stepping in off the aggression again, checking on the fighter. We want the safety of the fighters on the USA Boxing side here for the amateurs. Ensuring, checking the eyes, making sure we look good.
Again, another southpaw.
We'll see if Taylor can last the storm here. When you got guys that are throwing everything, bad intention again, this is where they typically were going to slow down later on, so headgear came undone. Our
Gotta
chief
adjust
official
the
sitting
headgear.
ringside here, Butch, we got a headgear that came undone, so for the safety again, we'll get that stop, get it correctly secured.
Luckman's got to be careful too as he's unloading and punches that his hands don't get down, because Taylor could just come out with one. All it takes is one punch and change the direction of a boxing match. So, and he looks like he's got the shoulders for it too. Taylor is shorter, but much stocky, very stocky, and
Taylor staying covered here, though.
yeah,
You know, those if you're a scoring judge, those punches are not scoring. They have to be a clean shot. The glancing shots don't score. Now they're doing damage still. There's definitely Taylor's feeling that pressure. However, it's not an actual scoring shot.
be nice to see Luckman go a little bit more for some more body shots. He's too many punches up at the top. Get a few more underneath, because I think they were taking effect earlier on.
We see that pace drastically slow down now from that first, minute and a half that we had there in that
To the last
first round. Yeah.
30 seconds.
Cool fun fact about Taylor, he was actually in the Marines, 4 years in the Marines. And in his very last year there, he actually tore his ACL and his MCL. So great to see him out here doing fighting. I mean, those knee injuries, they're no joke. I've had some MCL stuff, some injuries myself, and that's a long process to come back from that. I believe yourself, too, you had a knee surgery. I don't know which.
Yes, I did. And now I have a knee that's not doing very well either, but that's got more to do with old age than any injuries. You know, Luckman, he got into boxing he wanted to become a better person, and I think he's succeeding.
Boxing will help you do that.
Yep. His favorite part of training is learning combinations, so good for him. Hope he continues to learn.
Ooh, Taylor being the aggressor here now.
Again, Taylor from Fremont Boxing Club in the blue corner. Got some instructions. Looks like his coaches want him to push him and pressure him. They think the red corner is getting tired. Luckman out of 605 MMA. And you hear the coaches encouraging Taylor to go, 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 go.
Yeah, I'm really liking this movement from Taylor. This forward pressure right now, I think, is what's going to win him the fight. If he can continue with that pressure, he can stay at this pace. He doesn't have to go any harder than what he was going. He just needs to stay at that pace right now.
No, the matches have been pretty even today because there hasn't been, everything's going decision to the decision. And that's usually a sign of very well-matched opponents.
I'm seeing a string hanging off of Taylor's glove here. I'm sure the ref will step in and have that adjusted, have that taped down just for a safety concern here in a minute. But if not, they're going to catch that between rounds, I would assume. Taylor's coach now asking for a right hook and asking him for it to go to the body. Similar to what we saw in the last match too, as you see guys starting to slow down and that breathing getting a little heavier. That's where we want to go. We want to hit that body.
Yeah, second round, great round.
Do a quick shout out to our sponsors here again. We got Tata's Trading Cards, Breaking Burrito, Walsh Polygraph, Integrated Care, and Clubhouse Hotel. Also, if you're looking to get into boxing in the Sioux Falls area, head over to nextedgeacademy.com. We have a beginner's program. Go ahead and sign up for that. Really great time to get into shape. Even if you don't want to be a competitor, to show up, learn the movements, learn the art, and get in shape, have fun, meet good people. So, also, if you're in the Sioux Falls area next weekend, so April 18th, it is a Friday. There's LFA fights in town. 2 locals are going to be on that card. We have former LFA champion Cheyenne Bowers and Gift Harding will be both on that card representing local Sioux Falls. So get your tickets now. LFA next Friday. Support local. Cheyenne Bowers, Gift Harding.
I will be back for that. So will my daughter and her family and my wife. Get started round 3 here. Final round for these two guys.
Taylor really
was
showing
the
that
best
heart. You know,
mix.
again, that first minute in that first round, I didn't think he was going to get out of it. I thought we were looking at potential early stoppage, and now he's the aggressor here.
Yeah.
He's one of those fighters, you know, it's almost like they need to be hit a couple times to get woken up, and then they go, oh, I'm here. Let's go. And that's something his coach can take back, too. That's locker room stuff. You know, you always want to come out like you fought a couple rounds, and for Taylor, we're seeing that. He's just gotten better as the fights progressed.
He's definitely coming forward. Luckman needs to spin out of that corner and work his match from the distance. You can tell in the third round for both these boxers where their hands are at compared to, you know, at chest level rather than up by chin level or face level.
Both fighters digging deep here. Taylor really taking this round, though, right now. Just being the aggressor, landing more punches. I love the heart from both these guys. I mean, we are just seeing them give everything they got. These type of fights are the best in the car ride home. You feel incredible, you know, just a workout like that.
You let it all out in the ring, and it's so relaxing.
If Taylor has another gear in him here, he could end this fight.
Great.
The round ends. Great finish.
Great finish. That one kind of went back and forth. I think wind and endurance had a little factor in the outcome of that one.
Old Pudwell style there.
Oh, yes.
Really well-known North Dakota boxing family. Talker fighting for a world title at one point, but yeah, that's the come-forward attitude there.
Skinner.
What a great comeback again. Like I said,
yes.
It looked like that fight could have been stopped early on in that first round.
I
the ref even asking him, like, do you want to continue? And he was like, yes.
Yes.
And then he turned it on.
It appears we're coming up on our last event.
Final fight of the evening here. I know we are getting some camera indications on the battery, I should say, indications on the camera. So hopefully we have enough to make it through this. If not, jump on Twitter. I'll text what's happening.
There you go. So we got Vargas Boxing. Again, I've met that guy. I respect that family. I'm not going to try the pronunciation of that one. Ciano?
Yep, Ciano, Aguilera.
Okay.
Aguilar.
And they're in the... Oh, I might have this wrong on my deal here. So we got Vargas Boxing in the blue corner. And in the red corner, we got Jason from Jackson's Society. Or, I'm sorry, Jackson's Boxing.
Jason Zoya. And out of the blue corner from Vargas Boxing, Ciano Aguilar.
132 pounders here. Both these guys have a lot more than 1 year experience, that's for sure. I think we'll see a lot of fast action here, folks. Fast and crisp.
Yeah, you can hear the crispness breathing through it. Nice movement. Didn't feel like he had a great angle there, Ciano didn't, so he moved back, reset. Talk about that similar to almost like football, like running a play. Like you're going to run your play. If you don't see the angle, back up, huddle yourself, come back out with a new play.
Both being a little cautious just to see what might work, what might not work before you see more of the flurry. Then again, these guys might box most of this match from a distance like this and quick in and quick out.
Be watching for these fighters to use their distance management really well. So they're both really good so far of showing me that they can fight moving in and moving back. You're actually going to see that a mix-up of a combo even. Not just backing up throwing a punch or moving forward throwing a punch, incorporating both of them together in the combo. Moving forward initially, backing up with a combo on the outside of that.
Jason moving around the ring. Doesn't want to be in one spot very long. Changing directions quickly. Oh, even changed stances there for a minute.
Ciano with a nice hesitation. He moved forward, backed up, and then exploded forward again.
Their defense is quick as well as their offense. I mean, there's some big quick jabs and the heads are moving back quickly to avoid that punishment.
Both fighters feeling comfortable with that lead hand down too.
Yeah.
Going to that more of that Philly shell.
Yeah, it's
Any young boxers listening too, I know it looks really great and people love that. The Mayweather obviously making that famous. Like I said, my time spent at Mayweather's, right from his coach, he'll tell you he does not like his fighters doing that. That is a last-minute resort. That's what we're going to go to that. But no, he will yell at them. I've watched him in sparring. Otis Pimpleton Jr., he is against it.
Jason said his favorite part of boxing, favorite part of training is teammates. Again, the camaraderie that you can develop with this. And his fight dream would be with Pac-Man.
Nice. A lot of people want to take out Pacquiao.
I saw one earlier and I missed it. Tommy Hearns. Tommy the Hitman Hearns, again, somebody from my day. I don't believe that gentleman got a match, but I remember saying something to him about it when he made the comment, filled out the form. I was like, nice.
Also saw Holyfield earlier too. It's nice to see these guys understanding the late greats of the boxing world.
Well, a lot can be learned from watching, video of some of those great fighters.
Ciano trying to time that jab, as you saw, coming in. Very good explosive combo. Jason being smart enough to move out around on the outside, though, on that one. Jason's got his range figured out. You watch his footwork. He pulled his head just slightly out of the range. He's leaning in just enough to bait him and then pulling back. He's using it as a setup, too, for his overhand right. He wants to bait that jab to throw that two over top of it. You'll watch him do it here. We were talking earlier about making sure we're comboing with our punches, and I don't think we have to worry about that in this fight. These guys
No.
are coming with 3-4 punch combos every single time. Using our level changes inside that combo.
They both have a plan and a purpose. Nice left hook there by Ciano. Jason trying to stomp on the floor just to get him to think a punch is coming.
And you see Jason doing that little bait step too. He's kind of half jab bait step with his left foot. There he does it
they
again.
just did it again. Yep.
He's looking to draw on that right hand, and there it is over top of the jab again. It's exactly what he was trying to set up earlier.
The speed, I love it. You know, I mentioned how, you know, a lot of this boxing is traveling, and you mentioned it too. It's traveling with your teammates, with your parents sometimes. And for me, I had the pleasure. My coach took me to a lot of states out of North Dakota. I had a memory that come up not long ago with the passing of George Foreman. My coach would take me to Sacramento to a tournament, and my coach and I had breakfast with George Foreman's trainer and Doc Brodus, and what a great experience. You know, I did not get to meet George Foreman. I wish I would have. But talking to Doc Brodus and talking about George Foreman, you know, you're going to hear a different thing from Doc than you might hear from George Foreman. But it's still great memories, you know, doing that traveling. And
You also had an opportunity to learn from Angelo Dundee, I believe.
yes, I did. I spent a week in Miami Beach, Florida, and it was great. We got to train in the gym, and he visited with a team that my coach had put together from several fighters throughout the state to take down there and fight a team of a bunch of Floridans that were Gold Coast champions, and it's a great time. So there's a lot of opportunities for these young guys. Some of them are years from now, or a couple within the next few years. We'll probably see them in national tournaments or the Olympics.
Could definitely see that out of these two here. Again, very
Yes.
patient, high-level boxing here. Ref letting him work through that tie-up. Going to step in here, though. Jason working that jab and then swinging around again.
Level change, it went to the body. Nice. Little fancy handwork there by Ciano. Here, watch my hands down here. Again, I'd rather see him up from his chin and let go from up there. Get him out in front of him a little bit. Nice
Very
counter.
fast jab from Ciano, too. That came from the hip. He was in that Philly shell, and it came right from the hip.
Some very clean boxing here. That
Again, their in and out movement, their distance management is really, really good for both these fighters. There you saw him jab in and back out. Because you can draw in on a defensive punch that way too, and you're moving backwards.
you know, some of the fighters that have had a year or less, it would behoove them to watch these two guys go at it. So great match.
Absolutely great match. I could watch that one over and over again. These are those type of matches where I'm happy to have a headset on and not be officiating it and trying to judge this thing.
Exactly. Well, folks, another great day at Rumble at the Falls 3 in Sioux Falls. For those of you that were watching streaming, I hope you enjoyed what you saw and made it nice since you couldn't travel and be here. I wasn't sure I was going to make it myself.
Car was breaking down halfway point.
I had a little bit of problem with the vehicle, but we lived it here and got her kind of resolved, so I'm glad I made it. I always enjoy these events. even if I didn't have a headset on, just sitting in the stands watching. It's just great watching boxing. Kind of makes a guy want to get back in there again.
And in the final bout of this evening, by split decision.
Split decision.
Blue corner.
Blue corner, Ciano. That was a very, very close match. That could have went either way, and neither fighter needs to be embarrassed about the outcome of that.
Aguilar versus Soria, and our fighter of the night is Alan Garcia.
If you guys enjoyed this and you enjoyed the stream, throw a comment down below on the live stream and let us know if you want us to do this again. Let us know if you want to come back. Bruce does a really good job putting on the show. A lot of moving parts going into this, a lot of people that help out. Thank you to all those that helped out setting up the ring early this morning, the sponsors that helped make this possible, and just all the people. Again, head over to nextedgeacademy.com. Get signed up today. Even if you don't want to be a fighter, you just want to get in shape, you want some camaraderie, you want to hang out, it's a really good time, just learning a self-defense. So come there. We have a beginners program. You don't have to jump into the main program. You can have a more smaller class, just a more neutral area to learn and before you hop into the main class. But come on down, nextedgeacademy.com, go sign up, have a good time. And again, next weekend, LFA in town. We got 2 locals on there. Cheyenne Bowers, former LFA champ, looking to make her run back up. And Gift Harding. So we got 2 locals, very talented, going to be on that. Show them support, show up, have a good time. Thank you guys all for being a part of the stream.